Right, good morning guys. Welcome to this week's edition of the Netready Facebook Live events. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for dedicating your time to us. It's a pleasure having you here weekly. We're enjoying all this amazing content that we're putting out on the multi-level marketing industry. I hope that in previous sessions what we've put out has been informative and helped guide you along your business setup. And today is going to be no different as we speak about why multi-level marketing is the future of business. Just before we get started with my celebrity guest that I have over here, Mr. Richard Sletcher, I want to just kick this off and tee this up with the tone of, if I had to do it all over again, rather than build an old style type of business, I would have started building a network marketing business, said our dear friend, Mr. Bill Gates.
Is that a fact? I didn't know that.
Ah, cool.
Good heavens, eh?
Amazing. Bill Gates said that.
Yeah, look.
And we also know about Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, how much he has, he's a serious advocate for multi-level marketing.
Yeah.
All these big players are seeing multi-level marketing as an industry, the way of the future.
No, definitely. I can 100% agree with him.
Yeah, and this is what we're discussing today.
So you'll see I'm sitting with my laptop on my
lap
and my spectacles.
Yes. Not the other word that we sometimes use. Those words get confusing a little bit.
So it's just because I can't see this jolly thing if it's down there. My glasses, it's too far for me to see without them and too near for me to see with them. So I need to get it on my lap. So excuse the fact that we got our laptops up here.
No. So we've got this presentation that we want to accompany this episode with. Lovely stuff. So we're going to be running through this presentation on the screen. We've got our teleprompter set up, and it's just going to guide the conversation. I think using the presentation, hit all those hard points just to highlight the facts of why multi-level marketing is the way of the future. So I'm going to close my laptop.
Ooh.
I'm done with my quote. Lovely quote. Okay. And I'm going to let you drive.
Yeah, well, the whole discussion around here is about the future of network marketing and sort of where we see the industry going and why we think that multi-level marketing is absolutely the de facto way to the future. And I just want to point out, while we're on the subject, that the idea here is that we are talking not to network marketing members like the network. We're actually talking to companies who want to get into the space and become multi-level marketing companies.
The business owners.
The business owners.
Right.
But in actual fact, every single human being on the planet, this is a particular session that will be valuable to no matter whether you're starting a company or wanting to just join a network. In all of the cases, it is absolutely critical to know what's happening in the space.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, so the bottom line is that if you have a look at the landscape, the commercial landscape, AI is absolutely decimating jobs worldwide. So the point I put here is new technologies are completely set to disrupt everyday commercial enterprises. Things are changing so fast out there in the space that if we don't prepare for it, it's going to catch us with literally our trousers down, so to say. So the first organization I'd like to talk about is IBM. So IBM has created this computer called Watson.
Yes.
Now, understand, in the old days, when I learned to program and when we programmed the Netready system, you would write lines of code to instruct the system on exactly what you needed to do. So everything was dependent on you writing a line of code that tells the computer, listen, I need you to do this, I multiply this number by that number, etc. So you would actually write all of your code in a very predictive way, telling the system what to do. Well, that has all changed. That's not how things are done nowadays. What they do is they create these deep learning algorithms, and then they let the computer learn by experience, by trial and error. So an example is they'd give a computer like AlphaGo, which is an AI system, they'd give them a game, an Atari game.
Yes.
Not tell them the rules, not tell them how it works, not tell them what the outcome is. Just let the computer play the game and learn from its mistakes. And within an extremely short time, we're talking about 5-10 minutes, the computer plays that game at way above human levels, at superhuman levels that no human could ever be able to achieve. After 10 minutes of playing the game, not knowing how it works.
Yeah.
They then took Alpha and put it up against the best Go player, the world champion Go player, which is the most difficult game in the world.
Yeah.
And AlphaGo beat this thing, this person.
Beat him.
They then created another computer program, a deep learning program that played AlphaGo, which beat humans. And this thing just beat AlphaGo 100 to 1.
Wow.
100 to none, sorry.
Wow.
So the issue is that this deep learning algorithms, these methods of learning how to do things, are so powerful that it's just changing the world. Now, I just watched the AI Day by Elon Musk. It was
Right.
He had a video on
Yes.
it, which was extremely interesting. I recommend to anybody out there who's at all interested in AI and what's happening to actually watch the AI Day and see what Elon Musk is doing. But one of the things he's done is he's created a new IT stack called Dojo, which is a deep learning platform, which they say is around about 10 years ahead of what anybody else thought was going to happen. So it's an incredible platform. And he's actually cracked things like visual interpretation. So, you know, how you and I, we look around the room and we see a camera. We can decipher what that camera is, and we can infer functionality on that camera just because of the knowledge we have. We look at it, we see its shape, we infer that it can take pictures or record video, whatever. Now, if you have a look at I'm going to take automated driving.
Yes.
Or what do they call it?
Self-driving
Self-driving cars.
Yeah.
The way everybody else is trying to do it, the Toyotas and the Ubers and all of these guys, is they're using things like LiDAR and radar, and they're trying to ping the surroundings and work out where the car is in space, and they're using ring-fenced arenas so that the car can work in this arena which it understands and knows but couldn't work outside of it. So Elon Musk dumped all of that concept. What he said is that what we need to do is teach the computers how to use visual cues the way humans do. So his entire progress has been based on computers being able to see and interpret the world through visual cues. Because if you have a look at the roads in our world, they're all designed to be visually recognized.
Yeah.
The white lines, the signs, everything's visually, it's all visual cues for us to drive with.
Yeah.
Right now, as of today, his cars are already driving at human level capability.
Wow.
Okay? It's absolutely not, it's not a wishful thinking or a perhaps one day. It is inevitable, absolutely inevitable, that within the next couple of years, self-driving cars are going to be an absolute reality. So let's start talking about what impact this is going to have in terms of jobs. Let's say we just talk about self-driving cars for the moment. Imagine if all the trucking in the world could be done by self-driving vehicles. What happens to all the truck drivers?
Yeah. Well, they're out of jobs.
They're out of jobs. Now, maybe at the moment you need menial labor to unpack and pack the trucks.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you need that, but I'll discuss why that might not even be the case.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, what about all the Uber drivers?
Same
What
thing.
about all the taxi drivers? How about buses? How about just little things like all of the bus drivers at the airport who drive you around to the airplane and back? Understand, the second that we have full autonomous driving, an entire swath of employment is gone. Now, if you have a look at what they did with Watson, I mean, Watson's a prime example. They taught Watson how to be a pathologist.
Yes.
Okay, so Watson learned how to be a pathologist, not by somebody coding it, but by them saying, here's all the data about pathology, go and learn about it. Right now, Watson is a much better pathologist, much better, like superhuman ability pathologist compared to a human. And in actual fact, there's been some major pathology breakthroughs through Watson's insights. I mean, major.
Wow.
If you have a look at the legal industry, at the moment in America, the judges are asking Watson what they should sentence the person, and then 9 times out of 10, 90% of the time, they are taking Watson's recommendation and sentencing according to Watson.
Wow.
Now, why are they doing it?
Yeah.
Well, if they do the sentencing themselves, then maybe they get it wrong. Whereas if Watson
human
did
error.
it, well,
Yeah.
you know, they're not to blame anymore if the
Yeah.
sentencing is out.
I read about the example that Watson with the lawyers, and they took a team of lawyers.
Yes.
Right. So they took this team of lawyers and they made sort of on purpose errors, and then they gave those
in
contracts.
contracts, yes.
Contracts. So I think they gave them about 10 contracts. they also gave Watson those same 10 contracts with those same errors, and they said, go sort them out. And the team of 30 people in this law firm found 98%, I think it was, of the errors, and then Watson found about 97%, okay?
So the lawyers are better, obviously.
So the lawyers are better, yeah.
Yeah.
But here's a kicker. It took the lawyers about a month and a half to find all those errors, but it took Watson 15 minutes.
You see. So, and that's still on the ground floor. You can understand, we are still on the ground floor of this. If you project this out 5 or 10 years, there's no law firm in the world that's going to be able to compete with Watson, because Watson got access instantly to every single case study, every single bit of information related to the law. He doesn't need to look anything up.
No.
It's already there. He understands every single aspect of the law across the board. His memory banks are the entire internet. So when you speak to Watson about something, he doesn't have to look something up. He doesn't have to guess. He doesn't have to try and remember some case that so-and-so. He knows it instantly. If you want to put a contract together, he knows every single loophole that's possible. He puts a perfect contract together for you. If you want a contract deciphered, he deciphers it for you instantly, puts it into... Now, there are computer programs right now, based on deep learning, that you can give it normal text and it'll create a contract for you, or you can take a contract and it'll decipher it in normal text for you. Right now, today. So, take accounting. Another prime example. Watson understands every single nuance of all the tax accounting anywhere in the world, for that matter.
Yeah.
And so you take your books to Watson, you give it access to your bank balance, etc., and it does your tax accounting for you better than any human could ever do. And faster. It's quick. And of course, because it's faster and better, it's cheaper. So now you will find over the next 5 to 10 years that the major audit firms are not going to be the ones doing the big audits. It's going to be all handed off to Watson. Now, it'll start slow. It'll start with them using it for the grunt work that the sort of the low-end people are doing, and it will slowly work its way up over the next 5 or 10 years to the point where, in actual fact, if you want your company audited properly, you will go to Watson. You won't go to one of the big 5.
Right.
So the issue is, if you have a look, if you project this out over the next 5 to 10 years, there is going to be major disruption in terms of any kind of cerebral pursuit, any kind of profession out there that requires you to go to university and study. Now, you can bury your head in the sand. You can say, this is not going to happen. Somebody's going to come up with some solution. But go and have a listen to what guys like Elon Musk, who are at the cutting edge of AI, I mean, right at the cutting edge, are saying. I mean, he's warning everybody, saying, listen, this is going to disrupt jobs. And he's got all sorts of other solutions which he's trying to propose, but he's very vague on those solutions. What he's saying is that the changes are coming. We better be aware of it. Right now, what surprises me is that people are preparing their children through school and getting them all geared up to go to university and learn to be a lawyer or an accountant or whatever, thinking that there's any security in that. There's zero security there. Because by the time those people who are 15 now, by the time they qualify, those jobs are gone. And it's pretty it's scary.
It is scary.
Now, we discussed this off of air, but one of the things we discussed was the fact that if you have a look at what kind of jobs would be available, I would have said to you, well, probably things like plumbing, electrical, carpentry, fitting and turning,
trades,
all those trades, vehicle repair, all of that stuff, I would have said to you, that's probably where there's still going to be work. And in actual fact, if I project out short term, that's probably where the work will be. Because I think in the short term, people are still going to come and unblock your drain, are still going to come and cut a piece of wood, are still going to lay bricks for you. All of those things are still going to happen in the short term. But what was quite amazing is that, again, on AI Day, Elon Musk introduced his new Tesla robot. Now, understand, he's already cracked the whole visual cue thing. So in his self-driving environment, he's already cracked the visual stuff. So his cars can look around, they know what a human is, they know what a bicycle is, they can predict if somebody's going to walk into the street. If there's a balloon floating across the street, it can predict there's probably a child chasing it.
Yes.
It's those kind of edge fringe
Yes.
things. He's already cracked that. Now what he's doing is he's taking all of that and he's applying it to robotics. And he's saying, okay, we're specialists in batteries and in renewable energy. We're specialists in that. And we're specialists in visual interpretation.
Yeah.
We've got that cracked. We also have got for servos and motors, because the cars are built with, they turn the steering wheel and all of that kind of stuff. They're specialists in that. And he's saying, well, he's put a call out. He wants the brightest minds in the world to apply to come and work for Tesla, to turn what they've done for the cars into a humanoid-style robot. Now, that's where the impact, if you think about dangerous jobs, any kind of dangerous job, where a human shouldn't be in the first place, well, those jobs are gone for humans. So things like mining and, all of those kind of hectically dangerous jobs will just be automated using robots.
Which is a lot of jobs.
Huge.
Oof.
Huge.
Yeah.
Then if you look at, things like welding.
Yeah.
You can teach a robot. If the robot can maneuver and get around and can see, and then suddenly the welding jobs, something that people literally, these A-grade welders, they study for decades to become good enough to weld these pipelines. Here a robot will be able to learn it in 20 minutes and be able to do it better than a human. And, well, I'm a welder. I know just how difficult it is. Well, tell me, I can tell you right now that it doesn't matter how difficult it is, this deep learning technology, it's a little bit, I don't know if you've seen The Matrix. The guy wants to learn how to fly a helicopter. He just downloads the program. Boom. He can fly a helicopter at an extremely high level. The same thing will happen with these robots. Whatever you want them to do, you download the information. Just think about nursing and care. Once you've got humanoid robots, that whole landscape changes. Talk about cleaning your home, cooking your food. There's already chef bots that can take Gordon Ramsay's recipes literally right now. I've seen videos of them and can cook a meal for you.
Wow, so it's even the restaurant industry. And how big is that industry?
How about the servers?
Yeah.
How about the fast food industries? Understand that this AI revolution is coming. It's not maybe it's coming. It is an absolute inevitability. It is coming. And it's going to disrupt absolutely everything that's happening out there. Let me put my glasses in. Now, let's just roll out the short term here. In the short term, as this thing starts to become more prolific, what will happen is that there's going to be a glut of people for too few jobs. And what you will see over the next 5 to 10 years is that not only will there be people losing their jobs, but those people who are getting jobs are going to be earning less and less and less. Because if I can employ 10 or 20 people for the same job, then, and they're all equally good, then it comes down to what do I need to pay? And so that's going to drive wages down, because people will be needing to earn something to put food on their table. And as a result, the companies are going to pay less. It's just a supply and demand thing. When there's few resources for a specific task, drives prices up, and when there's too many resources for a specific task, it drives. It's natural commerce. So that's another thing. You're going to see a lot of HR out there, human resources, who will work for next to nothing just to put food on the table and a roof over their head. And then finally, the commercial. Oh, yes. So that was the point I'm at. This is why I've got this thing in front of me. The key thing is that the big commerce, the Amazons of this world, the big retail chains, the big guys will absolutely dominate the landscape. So they will have the only money that's around. They'll be able to drive the prices of wages down, and literally, they don't care. They'll get the people for as cheap as they can get them and keep them for as little as they need to pay them. It's just the way it is. If you have a look at the way that Amazon and these people work already, if you have a look at their policies and things, they don't want their floor workers to stay more than 5 years. They actually want to work them out of the job and have new blood replacing them, because that's the way they keep everybody sort of highly motivated. So that is going to become worse. So the big players are going to just dominate that space. There will be no way for the little guys to get into the market, no way for the little guys to exploit the opportunities that are out there, because the big guys will own the entire landscape. Now, there's been some suggested solutions. The one solution is this universal basic income. So the idea there is that everybody gets a minimum wage. But the question is, where does that money come from? Right now in South Africa, which is where you and I are, right now in this country, there's only 12 million taxpayers. And at the moment, there's 18 million people on Social Security.
Wow.
Now, can you imagine, as AI comes in and automation takes over and robots become a thing and self-driving cars are out there, and what's going to happen is that pool of taxpayers is going to shrink.
Yeah.
And the number of people on social grants, which is your minimum basic income in inverted commas, is going to grow. And at some point, the government just doesn't have the money. So where do they get the cash? Well, there's a couple of things they say. They say one of the things is that they can reskill the labor force to do things that are more useful. And so there's this whole thing is, jobs are going to go away here, but it will bring other jobs that we're not aware of at the moment over here, and people will reskill to do those jobs.
That's so unrealistic.
Well, the thing is, it happened during the Industrial Revolution. So, and it happened during the technological revolution. But if you have a look at the speed at which the Industrial Revolution took place, it was a very, very gradual process. Machines came in, they invented steam engines, steam-powered stuff, and so over the period of 30 or 40 or 50 years, slowly but surely the jobs changed from, making horse and carts to being able to work on steam engines.
Yes.
So there was a gradual shift. So there was easy to do that. The same with the technological revolution. Okay, typing pools disappeared, but word process came in and it introduced a whole lot of other jobs. And so there was a shift in the focus of the jobs. With the AI revolution, the issue is that the AI can do every job better than a human. Every job. So it's not a case of we're shifting away from this, but there'll be that opportunity there. We can learn to program. Well, the AI is a better programmer than you.
Yeah.
There's going to be no programming. It's already the case that the AI is programming themselves to improve their performance. Already, now. We're still at the ground floor of this thing. So the issue is that there isn't going to be a shift. There isn't going to be more jobs opened up because AI will do all jobs better. So which job are you going to do? And okay, maybe there's a job that we don't think about. In my opinion, if I look down the road, where I see opportunity is in entertainment. I think that human beings will continue to want to see other human beings doing things and watch them to enjoy them. I'm thinking of music. I'm thinking of art. I'm thinking of, the acting, that kind of stuff. So the arts, I think there's going to be a huge resurgence in terms of.
Does that play into things like sports events?
Absolutely. So sports, again, I think there's going to be a bigger focus on sports, and I think that what currently are minor sports are going to become major sports. And I think esports will come into that as well. I think that there's going to be a big uptick in that kind of thing. Those kind of human activities where we can get involved in that person's success or failure, I think there'll be an opportunity here, there. And I think in the caring space, I think that there's going to be a large swath of people who don't want to be cared for by a robot, if they're sick, they want another human to deal with them. So I think there'll be opportunity in those spaces. But in terms of accounting and pathology and oncology and driving,
oncology. This is what I was going to ask you. I mean, this is life-threatening stuff here, and and robots are taking over. You're getting the better chance of healing yourself, getting better, and not dying.
Well, not only that. What about surgery?
Yeah.
I mean, do you want a guy who maybe didn't sleep last night, had an argument with his wife, who's feeling emotional about something his father's brother's uncle said to him, operating on you? Or do you want a completely perfect clinical machine that understands exactly what's going on in your body and can give you a perfect operation every single time?
Wow.
So, it's the skill sets across the board are going to just, whatever skill you have, you can pretty much guarantee that it's going to be useless in the future. And maybe it's going to take, for some skills like plumbing, it might take 15 years or 20 years, Whereas for something like driving, it might take 5 years. So I think that, the bottom line here is that what we were saying here is that this whole commercial landscape will be dominated by the big players. So the companies who own 10,000 Tesla trucks are going to own the trucking business,
Yeah.
or 20,000 or 100,000. So the big players will buy up the trucks, and they'll all be automated. And the little oaks who were like the guys in the States, you own your truck and you drive and you pick up Coca-Cola and you drive it here, there,
They
or
can't
whatever.
compete.
They're gone.
Yeah.
So the big players will own the landscape, and basically the small people are going to be on a hiding to nothing. And then, of course, the AI tax. This whole concept, okay, well, if you have a robot doing the work, we're going to tax you as if that was a human. Well, that's fine. You can do that in some places, but for the most part, all of the sort of professional activities like lawyers and accountants and oncologists and that, those guys are going to reside, the AI is going to reside in the cloud somewhere.
Right, yes.
Like on some island or
Yeah.
on a ship in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
And how do you tax that?
Oh, yeah.
It's impossible.
Can't regulate that.
No, it's
Yeah.
very, very difficult. So I think I don't think that is a workable solution.
Okay.
So these are all of the solutions that have been proposed. There's a real challenge in terms of what's happening.
So the AI tax is to limit the amount of AI that's happening? Is that what it's
Well, they
intended
can't.
for? But
No,
that's the intention.
The AI tax is to saying, hey, Stuart doesn't have this job because an AI is now
Right.
doing it. So
Yeah.
what we're going to do is we're going to charge you X $1,000 a month to have that AI doing the job, and then we're going to use that money to give Stuart the basic,
Right.
the-
And the social grants.
the social grants, the basic income.
Right.
So
To
but
govern that.
I just can't see. Look, maybe they can do it. Who knows? I mean, we don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have a crystal ball.
Yeah.
But one thing is for sure, I can't see how they're going to do it. And I think that even if they do, I think it's going to be very difficult to police it.
Yeah.
Now what happens if your AI does 9 jobs? What happens
Yeah.
if you can because he works 24 hours a day, doesn't take a lunch break, doesn't take a smoke break, doesn't take a toilet break. He
Yeah.
just works 24/7.
Yeah.
Now, how do you tax that? He's doing 5 different jobs. Yeah, the stuff's sitting in the clouds. I don't know. I think that's a difficult one. Now, the pandemic was
Yes.
a microcosm of what happened. If you had a look what happened in the pandemic over the last couple of years, look at the industries that got totally decimated by this. Take the tourism industry. What happened there?
Yeah.
Well, tourism stopped.
Completely wiped out.
Now, all the ancillary services, like the airlines, the shipping companies,
Yeah.
the hotels, restaurants, all of these places, where was their income? Well, the income just disappeared. If you walk around our area here, we're in a, let's call it an upmarket commercial space here. I mean, we in A-grade buildings. If you go and look around here and see how many offices are to let, I mean, half the offices in this place are to let.
Yeah.
Now, those aren't even traditional travel, for example. Industry across the board, companies across the board got absolutely smashed by the pandemic. So that's kind of a small microcosm of what's coming with the AI revolution. It's like, this is the kind of thing that happens. The job goes away because an AI is doing it cheaper. I can't compete because humans are expensive. I close my business down. The offices are now available for rent. And that happened across the board. I mean, if you can look everywhere, and it's chaotic. So the other thing is unemployment soared. So you have a look at what's the situation? You did the research. What is the...
It's about 40%, just over 40% is the unofficial unemployment rates in South Africa. We're speaking about South Africa. And those are people that don't have jobs, and it doesn't even include the people that have stopped actively looking for work. What a terrible number to have within a country.
So almost half of the people
Almost half
are unemployed.
in our country.
Now, we living here, we know this because you just drive out to the airport and there's literally a sea of tin shacks where people have hastily put together some sort of shelter to keep the water off their heads and to keep something under them to sleep on. And there's just millions and millions of people in South Africa who are living in that kind of situation because there just are not jobs. And this pandemic absolutely exacerbated that problem. And then you have a look at what's happening with the crime statistics. You have a look what happened recently with the riots in Natal. I mean, this is the impact of jobs going away.
Yeah.
You know, it's actually scary. So unemployment is a huge thing. And then during that same time, everybody's suffering. Here at Netready, our business exploded. So our business grew by a factor of 3 during the pandemic. Now, when the pandemic hit, I'd been talking about the AI thing. I'd been doing these talks to our clients about AI and the future of AI and how MLM was going to be the thing to go for. But when the pandemic hit, I was in a state of panic. We were battening down the hatches because it's all very well to talk the talk. But when the gun is actually pointed at you now, I was terrified. I thought, oh my goodness, we're going to be wiped out. So I really thought that we were in trouble. And the following day, we started getting calls. So on lockdown, I thought, oh my God, what's going on? Right after lockdown, people started to call me. They were looking for an MLM software. They wanted to join an MLM business. Do we know, could I advise them on what is a good MLM business to join? And so between the time when lockdown happened and now, our business has grown more than 3 times. We've had a 300% growth in business. Now, I knew this intellectually beforehand. Now I believe it completely in my heart because we've experienced it. When times are tight, when jobs are few, people are turning to the informal sector, which is what MLM is, to actually find work. And so, in my opinion, this is why MLM is the absolute future of business. How is an individual ever going to compete with the big players? They can't. Where are they going to find jobs? They're not. So the opportunity is going to be there for them to create a business of their own. And the whole idea about MLM is that somebody puts together the infrastructure, they put a product in, and they handle all of the infrastructure. Then what they do is they leverage individual people's efforts, and they bring their product to market through those individuals. And those people are all self-motivated. They've all got their own little micro business. They're buying the products at a discount, selling them at a profit, creating a small sales team, getting those people to do the same, and they're generating an income for themselves. So it's the ultimate micro business. So that's why during that period we had such incredible growth. Now, as I'm saying, the multi-level marketing business is this collaborative effort between self-interested parties. Okay, and that's what excites me about it, is I don't have to get up in the morning and think, oh, I've got to start this massive business and I need staff and I need accountants and I need this and that. I just join an MLM business. Now understand, from a company's point of view, what you have is you've got a product, you already have that. You probably already got an infrastructure because you're running your business and you're selling it the traditional way. Now the idea is to say, if I look down the road, there's going to be a plethora of people who are looking for opportunity. So what I need to do is I need to establish the best possible opportunity to provide the best kind of income for these people who are looking for a home. They've lost their job due to the pandemic, or they've lost their job due to AI or automation or those kind of things, and they are looking for a place to generate an income to bring meaning to their life. And so as a company owner, you should be looking at multi-level marketing and saying, well, this is a fantastic way as a route to market. But the second thing is, hey, if I go as a route to market via traditional retail, I make one person rich. The guy who owns, or the shareholders of the company, the shareholders of the big retailers. Make them rich. If I go via MLM, I help save hundreds of thousands of people who are looking for opportunity out there. The impact I have on their lives is far greater than the impact I would have on their lives trying to sell through a traditional retail store. So not only am I in a position that I'm actually changing the world and helping people and solving a real problem out there, which is nobody's got jobs, but I'm also in the position where I'm helping change people's lives, and therefore that's if you look at Maslow's pyramid hierarchy, it's like self-actualization in the most real way. So this whole thing of collaborative commerce, then each of the agents, are we tight for time?
No, we're good.
We're good. Yeah. Okay. Each of the agents own their own business, so they own their own job. Now, I want to make a statement that people are going to swear at me on the internet about. It's fine. You can swear away. If you earn nothing in multi-level marketing, then you're earning what you're worth.
Right.
Okay. If you take a traditional business, let's say you become a barista.
Cool.
You're serving coffees. Here at £1,000 a month, let's say you're in a good barista job, £1,000 a month.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what happens is, what time do they want you to get there?
8 a.m.
Okay. What time can you leave?
Yeah. 5 p.m.
So you're
Normal
working
work day,
how many?
let's say.
9 hours you're there.
Yeah.
Is that 9 hours?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. If I'm wrong, it's fine. So you're there for 9 hours. How many coffees do you think you serve in that 9 hour time?
Hundreds, thousands.
Thousands.
Yeah.
If you take more than your allotted break, what does the boss say to you?
Yeah. He says, "This is your warning. Don't do that again.
Yeah.
We may kick you out."
Oh, and is there a queue of people waiting to be a barista in your place?
Of course.
Around the block?
Yeah.
Down the road?
Yeah.
So your job is precarious at the best. So you work 9 hours a day. Traditionally, you might even come in on a Saturday to work. So at the end of each day, you've worked your 9 hours. They give you £40.
£40.
So thank you for your 9 hours work. Now, the question is, you need to ask yourself, am I only worth £40 for the day?
Wow.
So as an agent. Now, if you put the same effort into a network marketing or multi-level marketing business as an agent, you would earn more than £40, guaranteed.
Yeah.
So the issue is that if you don't earn from multi-level marketing, it's because you didn't work. And if you don't work, then you're earning what you're worth. You with me?
Yeah.
So the issue is now, and this is where I think the multi-level marketing industry's got it wrong. Traditionally, you go to presentation and they say, all you have to do is this and this and this, and then you earn this big money. That is not the truth.
Yeah.
You have to work at it. It's a business like any other business. You earn very little in life doing nothing. So you have to work at it. But if you put in the 8 hours a day and you graft at it and you learn your craft and you do what is necessary, you will earn substantial income, way more than what you earned as a barista, and in actual fact, way more than you could earn as a doctor or a lawyer or any other professional if you really work at this. So the issue is here, you own this little business, and if you take it seriously, you can absolutely earn a fortune, and you don't need any skills. Everything you need, you can learn on the job. You've got a person above you, your upline in the company, who are desperate to teach you how to sell the product and how to recruit people.
Yeah.
You've got books. I mean, there must be 10,000, 100,000 books written on how to recruit people and how to build
There's
your
so much
MLM business.
information out there.
You can listen to podcasts. There's thousands and thousands of podcasts out there on how to build a network and how to build your MLM business.
Yeah.
The case is choosing a product that you love, that you can actually get attached to, and then go out and market it. And you don't need to worry about AI because people actually want human interaction. So I can sit down with you and I can tell you about something you would be passionate about and you would absolutely buy into it. And if I was any good at my job, you would buy from me. So the issue is there becomes an opportunity where you can own a job and you can own your own little micro business and you can be competitive.
One of the lines I get fairly often is that the fortune belongs to the founding members, the top of the network. Now, is that the case?
No.
Okay.
Look, obviously the guys who get in early, like in anything,
Right.
definitely have an advantage. And if those people really work hard, they can build the entire company under them.
Yeah.
Because when you get in early, the company is going to go through an exponential phase. It's going to blush. And those people who get in early can be part of that initial exponential phase. But there are people who are joining Amway today, and Amway's been around for decades.
Yeah.
There's people who are joining Amway today who will make millions a month out of Amway in the future. So it's not that it's you've got an advantage getting in first because obviously the whole business grows under you. The disadvantage is you're getting into a business that has got nobody knows it. There's no traction there, you know, and obviously there's risk attached to it.
Yeah.
Still got to build.
Yeah.
So, you know, whichever way, bottom line though is you could start in an Amway today or a Herbalife or a GNLD or any of those big companies. You could start today and you could in the next 5 years generate yourself $1 million income.
Yeah. Sure.
Completely doable.
And let's look at it from a prime example of if I sell to a customer, I'm getting 20% commission on that and they deal.
Yeah, exactly.
If I work hard to build up my customer database,
Exactly.
and the company then supports me in upselling those customers where I just take my hands off, or still managing the customers, I can make 20% retail every time a sale is made.
Exactly. Or more. Some companies give you a what they call a volume bonus.
Right.
So you can make 30 or 40% depending on how. And the beauty is that nowadays with technology, it's all online. So you get your customers to register on the systems online, and then actually the company markets to your customers and pays you a retail commission. I mean, so you could have 100, 200, 500,000 customers, and you could have your customers all over the country, or the world for that matter. You're not locked into any sort of central place like you were. In the old days of Tupperware, you'd have to have a party, you'd have to show everybody the products, they'd buy from you, and you would only have your specific reach in your area.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you can market online, you can market anywhere you like, and you can grow your business wherever using the multi-level marketing strategies. And then the last thing I wanted to do is that the concept of crowdfunding the marketing. Now, as a company owner, okay, just think of this. You own the company, you're selling glasses. How is it possible for you to compete in terms of advertising and marketing with an Amazon or any of those big platforms?
Can't possibly.
Can't do it. But let's say you sign up 100,000 agents. Now, I know that might sound a lot. It's not a lot. Well, how many agents has Avon got?
6 million.
So they got 6 million agents, okay?
Yeah.
Now, let's say you useless and you only sign up 100,000 agents. Let's say you're in a country like the UK.
Yeah.
You sign up 100,000 agents. If you get each of those agents to just pay a £10 marketing, admin, and advertising fee per month,
Yep.
that gives you what in terms of marketing expense?
£1 million.
£1 million a month. Now, if you got them to spend £100 a month, which is not a huge amount in terms of I'm running a business and I need to market my business. If you get them to spend £100 a month, suddenly you've got
10 million.
£10 million pounds a month.
Per month.
Just in the UK. Just in the UK. We're not talking about anywhere else. We're just talking one tiny little island. Now, if you're spending £10 million a month on social media advertising, on below-the-line advertising, you could be on TV, you could be everywhere. You can compete with the big boys.
Yeah.
So the issue is not, do you have a £10 million pound a month budget? The issue is, can you sign up 100,000 people? Now, how do you sign up 100,000 people? Well, it's a doubling process. Let's say you can bring 1,000 people and get them each to sign up one person.
Right.
You got 2,000. If they each sign up one person, you got 4,000. Then you got 8,000. Then you got 16,000. Then you got 32,000. Then you got 64,000. We're only like 5 doublings in.
Yeah.
And then you're over 100,000. Understand, finding the 100,000 people, actually not rocket science. We got clients, Netready's got clients right now with over 100,000 people in.
Yeah.
We got a client who started with us in January. We did a launch with them. They got over 50,000 people 7 months in. By the end of this year, they'll have over 100,000 people.
Yeah.
Now understand, again, if each of those people are just spending £10, you got £1 million a month of advertising. And that is like a crazy amount of advertising. You own the space. You own your market vertical if you've got that kind of money on social media.
And we had the interview with Matt Scholl, who's a specialist in the e-commerce space. And I said, well, what are traditional businesses spending? Are they able to actually compete with the power of crowdfunding through MLM? He says no.
Of course not.
Traditional business, the big businesses, the Amazons, the IBMs, the and, they can't even compete with that sort of spend. Well, they're not currently doing that.
Well, if you think of their model, what are they trying to do? They're trying to make their product as cheap as possible to attract buyers.
Right.
So they don't have the margins there.
Yeah.
Now, the Amazons, they're a different ballgame because that is like massive on a whole new scale.
Yeah.
So the Amazons, you can take them out of the mix. But if you take a large retail group, I mean, they don't have the margins to spend the kind of money that a small startup MLM company with just 100,000 members could spend. Now, you take an Avon. If Avon were to get each of their people to put in $10, they've suddenly got what? They got
60 million.
They've
60.
suddenly got $60 million a month in ad spend. Now, if they got each of their people to put in $100, they've got $600 million to spend a month. You understand that the economies of scale here are crazy. And how do you do it? You sign up one person and you help them to sign up one person, who you help those to sign up one person, and you just build your business. It's an organic process. And if you use our launch strategy, as you know, we're going to be hosting a webinar on that launch strategy, which you must actually maybe publish when we do that. We can get everybody to go and take a look at that. But with that launch strategy, you can get yourself up to 10 or 20,000 people within like 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah.
And once you hit that, you're on a vertical climb. You can go to 100,000 people in no time. You can have suddenly, if you just got them each paying $10, you've suddenly got $1 million a month that you can be spending in advertising. You can own that vertical, and that brand's placement can be huge for you. So the issue is that this concept of crowdfunding your marketing, both through the efforts of your members, through their personal posts in social media, and through their physical advertising spend, you can become more powerful than the big players in the country on that. Now, if you have a look, currently there's 27 million people in the MLM space. Right now, how are we doing time-wise?
Are we good? 13 minutes?
Right now, there's over 200,000 searches. Is this a month? I can't remember.
Yes,
if it was
200,000
I think it was a day. No, it was a day, I think. It wasn't a month. Of people looking for MLM opportunities.
Yes. Oh, wow. Those keywords.
MLM opportunities. It's 200,000 people a day looking for that.
Yeah.
So the issue is that you've got a massive amount of people looking for opportunity. All we need is companies with the will to say, hey, listen, this is a good opportunity for us to take our product to market. We're going to save people's bacons by giving them a job, and not job, but giving them an opportunity to earn money.
Yeah.
We're going to provide them with products where they can make a profit on it. And in the same, literally the same breath, we can change our entire business model and make ourselves more profitable. Because the advertising is going to be covered. Everybody who joins actually pays for their starter packs. The entire environment is geared towards helping this person and lifting them up and making them successful, and in the same process, making the company successful. So, I mean, I'm not going to get into the slide here, but bottom line is that there's millions of people. Oh, no, this is actually an important slide. Sorry. Let me tell you why this is important.
Okay.
Let me tell you why this is important. Going back to Elon Musk.
Yes.
He's got a new project called Starlink. Have you heard of it?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes. I've actually pre-registered.
Have you?
Yes.
I need to pre-register. What is that? We got 11
minutes.
11 minutes to go. Brilliant. So he's got this. I can actually put this down here. Can I put it on top?
Yes, of course you can.
Thank you. So he's got this thing called Starlink, and his idea is to provide internet connectivity in places where there is, sorry about that, we're playing footsie here. So his goal is to provide internet coverage in places where we never had internet coverage
dark
before.
areas.
Dark areas.
Yeah.
So it's little places in the middle of Africa or in the middle of the desert, in the middle of rural America or wherever. He's wanting to give you 100 megabit high band, low latency internet connection. Now, the thing about that is it's going to bring millions and millions and millions of new buyers. I think the number one here, 1.7 billion new, 4 billion new internet users will come online in the next 5 years.
Wow.
These are 4 billion people who are going to be looking to buy product, but it's also 4 billion people who are going to be looking for opportunity.
Correct.
Okay, that's why I put this one in. I couldn't remember
that's
why
important.
I did it. That's the thing. Now, who's going to leverage that new client base, that new consumer base that's going to come online? Right now, these guys are stuck in the middle of nowhere. They've got no access to anything. But with a pole and a solar panel and a Starlink mechanism and a small laptop, they're up and running.
Yeah.
They can either be in business, or they can be consuming products, or they can be consuming services, or they can be studying online, or whatever.
Yeah.
That connectivity is going to change the world. Now, if you throw in the next 5 years, let's say, you put another 4 billion people onto the internet, another 4 billion consumers, what kind of impact will that have on commerce, and what kind of impact will it have specifically on the MLM space?
Sure. Because they're not getting into the Watson zone, the AI zone either. So they're looking for other job opportunities.
Exactly
which is
right.
informal.
Exactly right. So the informal sector, so they want to sell whatever. They can purchase a box of whatever, widgets online.
Yep.
It gets delivered to them. They then on-sell it to their friends and families in their area and in the area surrounding. So the opportunity here for actually leveraging the future, the next 5 years, and the 4 billion people that are going to come online is huge. Is huge. So going back to why we started this conversation, why is MLM the future? I think that the people who are ignoring MLM as a route to market are making a massive mistake. I think this is going to be the number one route to market going into the future. Number one.
Yeah.
And we speak to clients, some of them who don't get involved, and they say, it's a pyramid scam, or it's got such a bad name. Everybody like runs away when they hear it.
Yeah.
Man, I can tell you right now, they're not going to be running away when their job is gone.
For sure.
They will not be running away at that point. They'll be looking for opportunities. All you've got to do as a company owner is make sure that your product is worth the money you're selling it for. So you need to have an ethical exchange of value.
Yeah.
You need to make sure your people can make money in the process. So there needs to be an ethical reward for what the person's action is. And you need to make sure that you're not doing anything that falls foul of the direct selling laws in accordance with the direct selling associations that are all over the world. That's how you stop yourself being an illegal pyramid scam. You just do it ethically. You know, every single business can be done unethically, whether you're fixing cars or a banking institution or whatever. You can be unethical if you want to. All you need to be as a company owner to take advantage of what is going to be an epically exploding industry is to just make sure that you're doing things ethically. Have a great product, have it priced correctly, make sure your people are making money, make sure you deliver on your promises, train your people, and you will have a business. Nobody talks about Avon as being an unethical pyramid. Why not? They're a multi-level marketing play.
Yeah.
Not unethical.
Sure.
And it's because their product is exceptional and people would buy it regardless.
Yeah.
So coming into land here, my kind of opinion, and yes, I've got a thank you. I've got a thank you thing, 6 minutes to go.
Nice.
My opinion is that every company should be looking at this. No matter what you sell, the company should be looking at multi-level marketing as a route to market. If they need advice, I recommend highly that they just get hold of Netready. Just chat to us. They don't have to come with Netready. They don't have to use our services.
Sure.
Have a chat with us, and we'll definitely be happy to give them some advice and steer them in the right direction. I mean, all of this information that we're doing every week is freely available. We're not trying to charge for it.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is see the industry as a whole grow, whether the companies use us or not. We want to see the industry grow, and we believe that by making the entire industry grow, we'll automatically grow, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And if we look at things like the unemployment rate within, speaking in South Africa, we are doing our small bit to eliminate this incredibly difficult time in people's lives and get jobs. It's food on the table and roof overhead.
Well, through the Netready project, and we don't have the exact numbers, but I estimate that we're around about 1 million people are putting food on their table and a roof over their head through the Netready project.
And that's a 60th of our country's population.
Yeah, now if we can double our efforts or triple our efforts, I mean, we're going to have an impact on what's happening in South Africa, and that's what we're planning to do here. Yeah. But not only in South Africa, obviously, we're involved in the UK, we've got clients in the US, we've got clients globally. Yeah. So, you know, we have clients elsewhere in the world. Obviously, our hearts are here in South Africa because of the unemployment problem here. But I believe we can help solve the problems globally in terms of that.
Yeah. Richard, we've come into land.
Have we? Are there any questions? Was any comments there? Okay, fantastic. Okay. We left everybody speechless.
I was going to say, we're coming to land, pulling into the hangar, jumping out the plane, and we're done. Thank you so much for this. This is amazing. I think we've identified now what is coming in terms of AI, how the pandemic has completely decimated jobs, traditional businesses. People have been looking elsewhere. We're supporting the drive towards employment within countries across the planet. And I mean, your information that you've just given us is invaluable. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. It was awesome doing it.
Yeah, and putting this beautiful presentation together.
Yeah, what can I say?
I mean, there's so much thought.
2 o'clock this morning.
So there you go. We never stop. We never stop. Guys, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you being here. Please follow us on all our social channels. We've got Facebook accounts, which is Netready. We've got our LinkedIn accounts, Netready MLM Software, a podcasting channel when you're sitting in your car, sitting in traffic, got nothing else to do. Put on our podcast valuable information on the multi-level marketing industry, and we've also got our YouTube channel, which is Netready. Click the bell to get notifications each time we load new content, and we'd love to have you there. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of the week.